What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing today, man? This is your boy, Trucker Richie Rich, coming to you with another video. Trying to make $1, man. Hopefully, I don't make any sense, cause I'm back to work. But man, it's about 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm over here in the west side of the Ozarks. So, listen. I had a subscriber ask me, "How do you protect your CDL?" Okay, this video is entitled "How to Protect Your CDL." Now, I want you new folks to listen up, and you guys who might have been in the game who don't know this, which you should figure this out really quickly. Out here in the industry, we survive by a couple of things when you get your CDL. Like I said, getting your CDL is very hard, because most times you go to these trucking schools, they don't pay you. You're not a hired employee. You're an apprentice. Sometimes they'll give you enough money just to eat oodles and noodles for the week. They don't pay you until you actually get behind the wheel of a truck. And even then, they're paying you minimum wage, so you're not really making significant amounts of money. So this is a very hard industry to get into. When I started trucking driving 8 years ago, I went to Denver, Colorado, all the way from North Carolina on a Greyhound bus. And I only had about maybe $200 in my pocket to last me 3 weeks. And I was literally eating oodles and noodles and bologna sandwiches just to make it. I mean, it was very, very hard. When I went to training, I was in training for about 2 months at Stevens with my trainers. And even then, I was only making like $300 a week. And I was eating literally hot dogs or whatever fast food I could get just to put something in my stomach. So to say that is to say this, that getting your CDL is very, very hard. I didn't get a paycheck for almost a month. When I left North Carolina and went to Denver, there was no paycheck. And I didn't know that either. I was really kind of new to the whole thing. I didn't know. I thought they paid you, but they didn't. So you have to protect your CDL, and here are some ways to protect your CDL, and it's very, very simple. If you ever get pulled over in your truck where you're driving, or you ever get a speeding ticket or any kind of law enforcement interaction, allow an attorney to handle it for you. Now, I know you guys are saying, "Man, Rich, I don't have the money for an attorney." Listen, these traffic attorneys range between $200 and $500 for their services. And I'm gonna tell you something, it is well worth it. Okay, never plead guilty to a ticket. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple examples of why you shouldn't, and one's personally for me. About 6 years ago, I guess, I was coming down Grapevine in California. Now, California speed limit is 55 miles an hour. So I was not paying attention. When I went down the mountain, I was empty, and I figured, well, hell, I'm gonna do 53. I'm not going too fast. Little did I know that the mountain actually had a speed limit on it, and the speed limit for the mountain was 35 miles an hour, and I didn't realize it. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going down this mountain, and next thing I know, the lights lit up behind me, and I get pulled over right there on the side of the mountain. And the state trooper came up to my truck, and he already had the ticket written out. He was just waiting. So he gave me the ticket and asked him how much it was. And he was like, "I don't know, call back the number." Now, when you hear a cop say that to you, that ticket's going to cost a lot of money. Okay. So the next morning, I was so anxious because it was the first ticket I ever got in the truck. I called the courthouse in Ventura, right there in California. And the clerk told me the ticket was $1,000. And if I plead guilty to it, California will assess me 3 points, and the state I'm from will assess me another additional 3 points, plus CSA score points. I mean, it was just a whole bad thing, because he clocked me 20 miles over the speed limit. Okay. To some jobs, that's a fireable offense. Luckily, I was pulling tanker for a company out of Florida, and When I called them and told them about it, I was worried. I thought I was going to get fired. But they were like, hey, don't worry about it, Rich. What you need to do is you need to call this number here, and they'll take care of it for you. And I was like, what? So I called this legal service called USA Legal. And what they did is they put me in touch with a lawyer. And when I got in touch with the lawyer, he said, listen here, Mr. Bell, this is what I'm going to do for you. Give me $300, and I probably can get this ticket thrown out, or I can get it reduced to nothing. So I gave him $300, let the lawyer fight my case. About 3-4 months later, I get a call from the lawyer. He's like, Rich, I got some good news and some bad news. So me, I was nervous. I'm thinking, well, I got points, and I got found guilty. But he said, no. The good news is I got the ticket thrown out. I got it turned into a parking ticket. It won't go on your license. You won't get no CSA score points. You won't get any points or nothing. I said, oh, a parking ticket. Okay. So I'm thinking to myself, $50 or $100 parking ticket, right? The state of California turned my $1,000 speeding ticket into a $1,000 parking ticket. They still wanted the money. These courts they're nothing but mafioso to me. But anyway, I paid it. Well, I didn't pay it then. He told me, so I got some other good news for you, Mr. Bell. He said the ticket can be on payment arrangements. So I set up a $100 a month payment arrangement for the next year. And I told the company I was with, and they're like, oh, good, man, so it's not going to show up on your record. I was like, no, I guess not. So to say this is, you have to protect your CDL, because I'm going to tell you another situation that happened to a student of mine. Okay, he was driving through Denver, Colorado. He was solo. He graduated off my truck. The thing with students, when they're with you, they follow all the rules and regulations, because I'm always on top of them, telling them what to do, slow down, speed up, watch your curve. But when you guys get solo, you forget everything I trained you. Okay. He was in Denver, Colorado on US 50. US 50 goes, I think it's US 50. US 50 goes from like 70 miles an hour down to 30 miles an hour when you're in those little small towns. Personally, I've seen Dateline do a story about that, how that's kind of shiesty, okay? And the reason it's shiesty is because, you're on the freeway. How does a freeway go from 70 miles an hour down to 30 miles an hour? Just for, it doesn't make sense. And there's like no warning. Okay. So luckily I have one of these here. I have one of these random Mcnallys. These things in the truck stop cost about $400 to $500, but I'm gonna tell you something. They pay their weight in gold, because on here it'll tell you to slow down, speed up. It'll tell you that the speed is changing. Okay. Well, unfortunately, my student didn't have one, and how could he? He didn't make a lot of money with me. These things cost a lot of money. It took me almost a year to save up to get that one. So what happened to him is he got caught in a speed trap. The speed on US 50 in Denver went from 70 miles an hour down to 30 miles an hour. And guess where the state trooper was sitting? Right there at the 30 miles an hour. Okay? So they popped him, pulled him over, gave him a $2,000 ticket. So he calls me up. He's like, Rich, what do I do? What do I do? I said, bro, listen, get you a lawyer. Here's a lawyer's number. They'll find you a legal service. Pay the additional $500, because, it's $500 if you're not part of the plan. I said, pay the $500. Okay? You don't want that on your license. You just don't want it on your license. He didn't take my advice. He pled guilty to it. And I'm going to tell you what happened to him. A few weeks later, he was fired, okay, from that company. Then he went to apply for another company, Creek Carrier. And they hired him on. They passed him on. And then a few months later, they fired him from that company. They called him into the office, and safety fired him. over a speeding ticket that he could have fought. Now he's paying on it too, you know, and now he has no job, you know. Listen, folks, you know, before we drove trucks, we used to, you know, get tickets and just plead guilty or whatever and just pay them off. They were just $100 or $200. Don't. Get yourself a lawyer. That's how you protect your CDL, you know. I used to have a hazmat, right? And this is for your hazmat drivers. I drive reefer vans, so I basically haul food grade. And I had a hazmat with this reefer, and only thing hazardous I ever drove was Lysol. So I let it go. You know, I'm out here, I don't really need to drive the hazmat stuff. The hazmat stuff is another headache, okay? I'll tell you a story. There's a guy in North Carolina where I live. He made a wrong turn down a road. And unfortunately, that road said no hazardous materials. He missed the sign. So I'm gonna tell you what happened to him. He was pulled over and he was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor. You know, they didn't give him a ticket. They actually locked him up. You know, some guys might say, well, damn, that's extreme. Listen, that's one reason why I don't do hazardous stuff, because it's too much headache with it. You know, really, hazmat really is good if you live local and you want to drive a fuel truck around your neighborhood or something, you know, or work for like Exxon or Flying J or Love's, you know, the fuel stop guys. But other than that, I don't see the benefit of really having it. You know, I like to deviate personally, and what I mean by that is, you know, if I'm down in like Los Angeles, I like to park the truck somewhere and go get me some El Pollo Loco. If I'm in New York, I like to park in the Hudson River and go get me some Sal's Famous Pizza. Or if I'm near Miami, I like to go down to Miami Beach, you know. And sometimes you gotta watch when you park the truck, because you're not gonna get just a ticket. You're gonna get locked up. So anytime you have any kind of interaction with law enforcement, always get a lawyer on it. Never plead guilty, no contest, and let the lawyer do all that. Okay? You know, this brings me to my next point. Make sure you save your money, because rainy days do happen. Okay? So anyway, that's my quick advice, man. I hope I don't be long-winded. I'm kind of up here, and it was on my mind, you know. I should tell you new drivers this, and this is very, very, very critical. If you get into a major accident in your first year, major accident meaning you flipped the truck, or you're rearing somebody that you kill somebody, or that you're rearing somebody with somebody that has serious body injury, or something major where it's just major, you're going to lose your CDL. Maybe indefinitely, maybe for a set period of time. You know, really the way you protect yourself is take your time, you know, and don't rush. Honestly, take your time. Know before you go anywhere. Because just don't start driving. I could have did that last night, and I would have ran right into a hurricane. Okay. Know before you go, brother. Okay, or sisters. Anyway, like, subscribe, and comment, y'all. I didn't want to make this long. I'm stuck in this door up here, and I hope I can get out of here. Peace.